Hey everybody, this is Herschel Froome from High School Top 200. This Bishop Viard College review for 2016 is brought to you by Fineline Barbers. Now what my boy Vinnie from Fineline Barbers has done is that he's joined up with a major barbering supplier here in New Zealand, and they're putting on the Aotearoa Barber Competition. What Vinnie is going to do is that in September 2017, this Aotearoa Barber Competition is going to go on. He's going to set up Facebook pages and Instagram pages so that barbers from around the country can upload their work and show everybody that the talent that we have out there in the barbering industry, and also that we have barbershops and that our culture for barbershops is strong. This is going to take place in September 2017, so keep that in mind. The Aotearoa Barber Competition, keep a lookout for it. Brought to you by Fineline Barbers and from my mate Vinnie. It's going to be good, so keep that in mind. Aotearoa Barber Competition 2017 September. Bishop Viard is a school. Bishop Viard College is a school that a lot of people will not know. It's right on the border of Porirua and Tawa, and I know where it is because I served part of my mission in Tawa, and I remember going to Bishop Viard when I was I think 17, and we as the American football team, we went down there. We played down there in Wellington. What's called the Vulcans, Auckland Vulcans or Falcons or something like that. We went down there and we stayed at Bishop Viard, and so I remember the school, and I've been there before. But a lot of people wouldn't know Bishop Viard College as a rugby school, and it really isn't. Like, it isn't a really strong rugby school at all. But as of the last couple of years, they have been pretty strong, and they are actually proving that this is a program that can that can actually hold themselves, and that can actually push against the better teams and the bigger teams around the Wellington region. At the beginning of this year, really, I really wanted to watch Adam Tony, and like, he was the one that I was following because I knew that he was going to be a big deal. As an open side for these guys. I knew that he was going to be a guy that, given the whole year and playing at his best and in the best position, he would be a guy who would be high rep honors. And I'm talking, around Barbarians, New Zealand Secondary School honors. I think he is talented to be in that range. And so I really wanted to watch him this year. He got injured early on in the year, and I thought, okay, this team's not really going to do that much. But the coaching staff pulled together, the team pulled together, and they actually turned out to be a really good school with a really good record. And I think that they were successful. I think they did exactly what they needed to do throughout the year, and they won some really good games, and they had some really good players stand up for them. I was really impressed because I watched a lot of their games. And I thought that this was a team that played as a team. It's like they knew that they couldn't, if they played as individuals, they knew that they were going to fall apart. They knew that they couldn't match up with teams player for player. But the way that they won, and the way that they won a lot of their games, is that they played as a unit. So they played as a forward unit. And so, like, you got to understand that this team is not a team that has all these guys, these specialist guys in specialist positions. So the only one that they could play is to play as a unit. So they're the forwards with Darius Patu and Etuale Tungia. I liked those two. Dorian was another one that I really liked as a prop. Lee Nansen was another one. Kit Minova was another one. These guys, I thought they were this big, physical fellas that took no nonsense. They didn't care who you were, and then they all just kind of played for each other and then got the job done. Arthur Martini was another one that I thought came in later on and did some work. Zane Thomas as well. And so like all these players, they all played for each other. They knew that if they played as separate players, they weren't going to win. I knew that if they went in there and they thought, and they made it personal to the point where he said, "Oh yeah, I can beat that guy one-on-one," and tried, he was going to lose, and then the whole forward pack was going to fall apart. So these guys, they all just played it as a team, and they all got it done, and they made sure that when they played to the game plan, and they played to their strengths. And that's how I think that they got through all of these games and were pretty successful. Tom Maiova was really good at halfback along with Denzel Leota at first five, and I think that they had like a good chemistry where they were able to move the ball faster. Because of the forward work, they were able to move the ball faster, get Tisifino, Roy Maiava, who was a guy that I thought missed out on the Hurricanes, who I thought should have had a Hurricane jersey. Roy Maiava was that good. And they went in there and, you know, they won a lot of games that they probably shouldn't have. I think that this year was a year that they showed that they could handle it. You know, beating Wairarapa, beating Tawa, and like things like that, and then being able to do okay against Silverstream. I think Silverstream was their first hard game that they actually really had, and they lost 38-3. I think more of a reality of what competition they were playing in. I think it was good. I think it was good that they had St. Bernard's next, which they won 31-22. They lost big time to Rongotai. They lost again to Scots. They again lost to St. Pat's Town. All really big scores. Just managed to beat Tawa. But they came back and played St. Bernard's again and won 53-7. Which shows to me that they were a progressive team. They were progressing and they were learning as a team as well. Losing to Wairarapa at the end was probably not a good sign, but it was still a good indication of what this team could do and where they were coming from. Again, they had a lot of injuries as well, which was one thing that was sad, because they had guys that were filling in, and then the fill-ins kind of fell off, even though the fill-ins were playing really good too, and they're playing up to their standards. You know, they did really good as an overall team to sort of fight for each other, and that's what I kind of saw about this team. They had a lot of guys injured, like I said, Adam Tony was out for a year, Dylan Patu was injured, I think Jeremiah Lokeni was another one that was injured, Brandon Naira, and also Tisifino was injured too for parts of those years. And so like all these guys that were really good starters and guys that played really good key roles for the team, you know, they were all out. So it was kind of like a think of what we could have been if these guys played kind of scenario. And so for me, I kind of think that way too. I think that and there's stuff that you can't really change, but I think that if these guys had everyone there, they had a strong year and they built from week to week, I think we would have seen a better Bishop Viard team, and a team that really dominated. Ranking the top 50, there's a lot of guys who could fit in the 47 to 50 range, and I thought Bishop Viard deserved to be one of those teams based on what they were playing off, based on the competition that they were in, and where they come from and what they were able to achieve as a team and the structure of play that they played. That's where I think that I was a lot more impressed with them than other teams and why they made the top 50. There may be other arguments, and I can understand that. but that's where I think that they ranked, and that's my Bishop Viard College review for 2016. Look out for them 2017 and see what they look like. Peace.